All right, Wes, nothing but debuts. We got a bunch of them this week on the show. That includes our next guest, which is Luka Slabe, the new NC State volleyball coach. And there he is, front and center. Luka, first of all, welcome to the show. Welcome to the ACC.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Wes, for having me, and my pleasure.
Well, listen, there's a lot to talk to you about, man. You've been all over the place. Right before we brought you on, you were kidding around about your latest road trip that you literally just rolled into town after driving cross country. What was that like? That's always got to be a wonderful excursion.
Yes, it was beautiful. Change of scenery every 700 miles, so and those 700 miles keep repeating itself until you make it to 3,300 miles. So went from California over beautiful Utah, our previous home, and then beautiful Nebraska, even though I thought it's going to be not so pretty. It was flat, but it was green. And then, all the way to Raleigh, and we're happy to be here.
Before Wes gets started here, there is, and I've done some of this driving from Nebraska through Kansas and into Missouri, and, every part of the country has its own flavor to it. But I'm going to tell you something. There are times when you're on the road in the middle of Kansas that you go, you got to be kidding me, man. There's no billboards, there's no electricity, there's no houses. And you think, man, if the car breaks down, they're never going to find us. They will never find us here in the middle of Kansas.
Yeah, I agree. Some stops were special. Let me put it this way, okay? Some gas station locations were special and very unique. So I was a quick in and out.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Hey, Coach, here's the thing, though. You got this job kind of right before all this craziness began, and also the understanding that when you were hired, you were also going to go to the Olympics this summer as part of the men's national team. You had worked with Karch Kiraly for several years, and you were going to build NC State. And then after the Olympics, obviously you would go full-time in Raleigh. And now all of a sudden you're driving cross-country and not flying, to the Far East for the Olympics. I mean, just how bizarre has this been for you, let alone the sport of volleyball and all the other things that have gone on in our country, I guess?
Yeah, I think there's always two ways to think about it, two sides of the coin. Yeah, it sucks. We don't get to go to Olympics in 2020. We get to go in 2021, hopefully. Meanwhile, you're jumping on a wagon with NC State, trying to make things happen, and you cannot, because 9 practice sessions in, you're cut because Corona. So I got to return back to USA gym and my home at the time, and you hope that you get to coach a little bit of volleyball. And we did that in limited fashion. And you're just waiting and sitting and trying to prepare the best you can. And the biggest thing is just like, how fast can we adapt? Because things are changing so fast. So it is about preparation to a certain degree, but you don't want to overdo it, because usually in 2 days things change. But I think what we're learning right now is how to adapt fast. And I think both teams that I'm part of, USA and NC State, are doing a pretty good job at adapting to current situation. But either I can sit and feel sorry about me and about my teams, or we're just like, okay, we know this is part of the deal right now. What can we get out of it? What can we learn from that? And that's a big part of our culture, philosophy. We're learners. We're not good enough yet. How can we get better every day?
Look, I'm just curious, with all that was going on with your international background, what was it about NC State that you said, you know what, this makes sense for me, let's go get after it and make NC State a power? What was it about the Wolfpack?
NC State and Raleigh in general, this state has a lot to offer. It has a lot to offer to me as a coach. I can go somewhere and I can build and do something with this group that's never been done before, which is go beyond second round of NCAA, and who knows, go win championships down the road. That's a big one. The philosophy that Boo Corrigan, our AD, and people around him, surrounding him, the philosophy that they have, what they're trying to do, change our athletic department, it rubs me the right way. So that was very, very intriguing, that we get to build together. We are one team. We're not hiring individuals. It's all about hiring good people, and of course, it helps when you hire a good coach and a support staff. NC State, as you know, it's a big university that has a lot of big alumni, a lot of followers, and also this state and Raleigh, it's good for my family. My wife Tina, she's a business lady, so Research Triangle offers a lot of opportunities for her to continue her career, and I want my kids to be in an environment where they can just get the best out of it. Diversity. Also, NC offers beach to the east, mountains to the west. We're a ski family. We like to ski where we're coming from. So it's so many things that goes into this decision that we made together. And so far, so good. Let's just get rid of Corona.
Well, I think we can all agree on that. Your background is fascinating. Not only did you work with the national team here in the United States, you're a member of the national team in your native Slovenia. I just want to ask about working with Karch Kiraly, who, if there's anybody that is what American volleyball is, it would be Karch Kiraly. I mean, the guy was phenomenal as a player. He's done a marvelous job for our country now with the national team. What did you learn from him that you hope to bring to NC State, and how much of your coaching philosophy is molded from him, and how much did maybe you help him in terms of his success too?
You learn from every coach you work with. So I spent most of my career being head coach. That was my first job, I'm head coach. And I haven't been an assistant coach a lot. And when you get to be an assistant for Karch, you're in a learning mode all the time. He won 3 gold Olympic medals as a player and then a couple more as a coach. And there's so much about this guy that it's a force of nature. He just doesn't stop. He's always troubleshooting, always trying to find ways how we can get better, how we can change things so we can gain a percent right there, that we can grow as a team and our culture a little bit there. He's just on and on and on 24/7. And if you're not ready, there's no way you follow that. He's a grinder, hard worker, extremely honest and loyal human being. And he will listen to your opinion. He will never make a decision on his own, but not because he's not sure about his decision, but because he values our opinion. So he's going to go around the room and ask, Luka, what do you think? Aaron, Tama, Jeff, our medical staff, our sports performance staff. And he's going to give a lot of thought to our opinions, and we're going to together come to a decision. Leads great, and when it's really tough, and we've been in some really, really tough moments, you see who's the boss. Just with the way how he goes about himself, about the work, he carries himself. He's unbelievable. So I'm very fortunate to be able to spend 2 years and probably a few more months in spring and summer next year with him.
Luka, the first time I ever attended an Olympics was to watch events was in Barcelona in '92. And getting tickets to stuff was tough, but I could always get tickets to volleyball. And the first time I ever went and watched an Olympic volleyball match, it was a men's match. It was Italy against somebody, went America. And I was stunned about how physical the game was. I mean, these were dudes coming through the tunnel. You're like, man, holy man, look at this guy. I mean, it was a bunch of damn studs were coming in there. Like, oh, who are these guys? The women were the same deal in the sense where you went, holy mackerel, this is not a little dainty little lady going to sit there and we're going to play, two-hand touch. And I was blown away by the physicality on that level. Now, when we switch over here to college athletics and where volleyball is now, and I watched, in fact, beach volleyball was on the other night, and I sat there and watched Holly Rowe with SC going against UCLA. I'm amazed how talented and how physical volleyball is on both sides, and even with the ladies now. Hey, you know what? If for folks who've never been to an ACC volleyball match or a college volleyball match, you're gonna be blown away by how talented these ladies are. Talk about just the physicality of the sport on the ladies' side.
Yeah, comparing men's and women volleyball, there's going to be always a slight difference because of physiological differences, and that's about it. Guys probably jump a little bit higher, hit the ball a little bit harder. They can do certain things a little bit faster, but that's about it. We coach them. We coach women. We coach men exactly the same way, at least in our gyms. There's no differences. They can do same footwork patterns. They can have same arm swing. They can move the same. They can read the game the same. Just a little bit difference in things that I've mentioned. And you're absolutely right. Men's teams, when you watch men's elite teams, and not even even college teams, when I was coaching BYU, our team was taller than basketball teams. So on average, these teams are huge. When you watch international teams, these guys are usually on average taller than basketball teams. And meanwhile, they got to jump, dive, and do all this crazy stuff. So they're very dynamic movers, much more than tall basketball players. So women's game is getting more and more physical, more men-like. So we are now running plays on the women's side with a national team that there was no way that anybody thought we were going to run this, let's say 10 years ago, or even maybe 5-6 years ago. So girls are getting taller, girls are getting stronger, girls are getting coached better, just overall better volleyball players. So it's very exciting to see this process, and I think ACC has a few steps to go to catch up with other top Power 5 conferences, and that's the exciting part. There is room to growth in our conference in general among all the teams.
Coach, what'll be a successful season in year one in Raleigh, given the landscape and all those things? I mean, you're trying to plug and play here a little bit. What will be the punch list for you, so to speak?
Can we stay healthy, and can we get people that are not super healthy right now healthier? That's always the objective. And then because we missed spring training, I missed my new staff, myself, we missed spring training 9 days. We had 9 days of spring training before we got cut. So I'm just looking to get into the gym. Of course, we want to win and we want to compete, but we want to train and get a ton better, figure out the systems, how we want to play volleyball, fundamentally and system-wise. And if we can accomplish that to a pretty high degree and be ready for next spring training period, or maybe even volleyball spring season, I'm going to be happy. So stay healthy and get better as a team and individual, and try to figure out how we want to play volleyball here. That would be a success for us.
Luka, before we let you go, you mentioned your family and your wife and your kids and so forth, and the quality of life, which you will absolutely love where you've moved in the Triangle, because it's just a great quality of life. But I will tell you, one thing you're going to have to get used to, actually two things. Number one, barbecue and sweet tea. So I don't know if you've made that transition yet, but that's going to be something that family's got to deal with now that you're living in the Raleigh area.
Yeah, I like both barbecue, but I hear that North Carolina has a little bit different taste of barbecue, so I gotta try that one out, different than other southern states. So, and sweet tea, we've done it before, so I think we're gonna be just fine.
Very good.
But what's really easy to get used to it. So this morning I drive to Costco gas station. Nobody's there, and gas is $1.79. A month ago I was in California. The whole California is there, and gas is $3.80. So I'm going to really have easy time to adjust to that.
You're making money left and right already.
Oh,
listen,
yeah, here we go.
we appreciate it, man. Best of luck to you. And again, welcome to the ACC, and best of luck at NC State.
Thank you, guys.
You got
Take
it.
care.
Be good.
Thank you. Bye-bye.